Hello and welcome to my channel, The Lifestyle Edit. I am Megan, and today I thought that I would do something that follows up on my previous video, which was my reflection of 2025. So today I thought that I would share with you my gentle reset video. And basically, what that means is instead of rushing to make New Year's resolutions or trying to figure out, what do I do next and setting all of these lofty goals for myself, because that's typically not something that works out for me or is successful for me. I thought I would do things a little bit different and do more of a reset. And so this is not about reinventing myself. This is not about unrealistic expectations. But for me, it's about creating habits and rhythms that support my life as it is right now, based on what I experienced last year and how I want to move into the new year. So I know that we are nearing the end of January. And so I took a few weeks at the beginning of the month to really do a reflection on last year, because there were some, pretty big things that happened, in my opinion, for me. And if you're interested in that video, I will have it linked below so that you can go back and watch that as well. But today we're really just going to focus on this reset, finding ways to help support my health, my relationships, and the space here on YouTube, which I have with all of you. So I'm going to talk about the goals that I want to focus on in a realistic way, how I plan to stay accountable, and just really do things in a softer, gentler, maybe slower pace if possible. So if you are looking forward to maybe doing the same thing for yourself, or if you just want to watch a video that's a little calmer, then I really hope that you enjoy, and I am glad that you are here. So we're going to start off with some personal intentions that I have, and these would be healthy habits. So these are my healthy habit intentions. These are the things that I want to start working on, and I'm going to be doing them very small, tiny baby steps at a time, because anytime I rush into something, it typically doesn't work out for me. And I just want to be honest with myself. And, I need to do things a little bit slower. When it comes to food and a lifestyle diet, because I really don't like the word diet, and it's not necessarily that I want to change what I'm eating. But I think for me, I want to change how I'm eating. What is best for me? When should I be eating? How much should I be eating? Sometimes just making those small changes, it doesn't mean that I have to stop eating what I want. I can still have a gluten-free pizza if I want. I can still have a burger if I want. I can still have ice cream because I do love my sweets, but I want to be a little bit more intentional and a little bit more aware of what I'm eating, how often, how much, because when I overeat, I tend to not feel as well. And so knowing that, being aware of that for me is just, focusing on the nourishment, the consistency, listening to my body. Okay, I've eaten too much. Now I don't feel well. Next time, maybe scale it back a little bit, but I can still eat what I want. It's not about telling myself I have to stop eating something. Now, if I find there's something that's uncomfortable, for instance, I know that gluten tends to make me uncomfortable. It does exacerbate my eczema, which is just something I've learned over the last 5 years, because it didn't used to have that effect on me. Then that is something that I can control. So I just want to make sure that I'm taking all of that awareness and doing something about it, instead of just, oh, okay, well, this just happens. That is my thought behind it. I also want to hopefully start exercising a little bit more. And when I say exercise, I really mean I just want to move more. I have a desk job that I do 40 hours a week, sometimes more if I'm working overtime, and I want to be able to be more active. So I'm not saying that I'm just going to go out and join a gym because that's very intimidating to me and it makes me super uncomfortable. I'm not saying that I'm going to start, following a YouTube program or, ask AI to create an exercise program for me. But I have 3 dogs and they all need activity. They all need exercise. And so intentionally taking them on walks every day for both of us would be very healthy and just help us to be more active together. And then on weekends, obviously I have a little bit more time so I can schedule it a little better. When I work from home, I can take walks on my lunch break. My concern, of course, is when it starts getting hotter here in Florida, and that is when I lose all motivation to do anything. So I am going to have to find ways to be more active inside and to just move around and help with my flexibility, my balance, especially. So I am going to start looking into those things and seeing what I can do and hopefully build up maybe to an exercise routine, or a mile long walk every day or something. Again, baby steps, we're starting slow. I'm not looking to do, a marathon at the end of the year. That is not what this is. I just want to be more active. I know it's better for me. Sitting is definitely not a good thing for your body. And I just want to be more, I just know what my awareness is. And so I want to be more active about it. Another thing is mindset. Being on social media, whether I'm doing it personally or I'm doing it for my channel, can be very difficult. Watching other people's YouTube videos, watching, reels and everything on Instagram, it can be overwhelming. You're bombarded with all of this information, and some of it's real, some of it's not, some of it's AI, some of it's just someone's opinion. Just like this, this is just my opinion. You don't have to follow this. You need to figure out what's best for you. I'm sharing what I'm doing so that if you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking to try something new, that, maybe that will give you that. For me, one of the things about mindset is, feeling good enough, feeling enough in myself and confident in myself. And so that's one of the things I want to work on this year. And I think scaling back from social media is going to help me. There are just things that I want to start doing to help better clear my mind and make me feel healthier in my mind. One of those is going to be focusing more on positive channels, positive Instagram pages. And another is unfortunately going to be, either unfollowing, unsubscribing, or muting information from certain people that I follow, because I follow a couple of great women because of their fashion choices. They're all petite and we're all in different stages of life. I think they're all younger than I am, but we're all relatively within the same 5 to 10 year space. And, they have some great fashion choices. They, buy stuff on Amazon. They partner with other brands. And it's great because it helps me kind of get an idea, okay, that would fit me for my height, or that would fit me for this or that or whatever. But I've realized that I'm constantly buying stuff and I don't have the budget for that. I don't have the money for that. And maybe you've been feeling that way too, and you're trying to figure out how you can scale back. For me, I have personally decided that I am going to either mute their channels, mute their whatever, so I don't know when they post something. And I am going to stop buying clothes. I did see a very good reel back in December, and I wish I could remember who it was because I'd like to give her credit, but I think she was a little bit older than me. She might have been closer to, late 40s. And she was talking about how, do you remember when you would only get new clothes at the beginning of a new school year? You might get a new sweatshirt at Christmas or a new dress at Easter Or, if there was something that you really wanted that wasn't a need, you might get that on your birthday. You might have only had 2 or 3 pairs of shoes, depending on where you live. I think I had 1 pair of sneakers. I think I had a pair of boots because I lived up north, and I had a pair of sandals. And I might have had 1 or 2 other shoes. I probably had a dressy pair of shoes, for special occasions. So I may have owned 5 pairs of shoes until I was, I think, 18 or 19. And then I worked in a shoe store, and then I was buying a lot more shoes. But for the most part, I really didn't get stuff like that all the time. And so just going out and buying something on Amazon or buying something at the store, sure, I can, but should I? Probably not. Now my closet is just a mismatch of crazy stuff, and I never know what to wear. And it's definitely a little bit of a pain point for me. So one of the things I'd like to do is stop buying, see what I have, what I'm wearing. I did the hanger trick where you turn all of your hangers backwards, and then when you wear it and you put it away, you turn the hanger back the correct way, so that in 6 months I can see what I'm not wearing. I should be able to know what I'm wearing by the middle of the year, and I can start getting rid of stuff, donating, or maybe ThredUp. I know right now on ThredUp I can only donate. I think they have enough merchandise, or at least they haven't liked enough that I've sent them previously that they're like, okay, all your stuff's going to donate. So with that being the case, I typically send it to Goodwill, or, somewhere where they can hopefully use it. Or someone can get some use out of it. But I did actually take some stuff that I had in our spare room, and I went and donated that. It was a whole trash bag worth of clothes that I know I haven't worn in the last year or two, and it just needed to go. So, hopefully decluttering a little bit, one space at a time, a tiny space at a time, because anything else is overwhelming to me. So that will all help in my mindset and things like that. And then another one of these healthy habits is self-care. And I think that I do an okay job self-care when it comes to my skincare, when it comes to relaxing in the evening, doing my skincare routine, washing off the day, taking my shower, doing all that kind of stuff. But I'd like to do some other things that are also going to help me mentally and emotionally. And so one of the things for self-care is I want to start reading again. I love reading. I used to read, several books over the summer when I was a kid. I love the Babysitter's Club. There were a million books, so I never ran out of stuff to read. There were so many spin-off series from that and things. It was great. So I want to get back into reading. I know that there are some great series out there. If you guys have any recommendations on books, whether they're individual, whether they're a series, if there's an author that you particularly like, maybe they write series and individual novels, leave me a comment, let me know. I would love to start getting into reading again. My goal is just 1 book per month, and I'm already running out of January because I haven't even started a book. So by the time you see this, it may even be too late, but I would love to do something. And if I have to wait until February, I'm okay with that. But my goal was just 1 book a month because, I work 40 hours a week. I want to be able to, film and edit a video for YouTube once a week. And so that does take time. And, sometimes I do just want to veg on the couch for an hour or 2 at night before I have to get ready for bed and do my evening routine. So I think the goal of 1 book a week or a month is going to be the best for me. Although I did try that 2 years ago and it didn't work out then. So we'll see how it goes. The other healthy habit for self-care is I am going to start therapy this year. I found a therapist that does in-person sessions, and it's definitely going to cost me some money because she's considered out of network. And so, it's something I'm going to have to budget for. So I took some time last week and sat down, looked at what I'm bringing home. And because of course you can't count on what they take out for taxes and Social Security and what goes into my retirement accounts. So I looked at what I'm actually bringing home, and um, and how much I should be getting a month based on that number, and based on the amount of checks I get. And then I went through all the bills I'm paying and all of the things that I'm accountable for, and looked at what was left. And again, this kind of goes back to the shopping thing. No more shopping. I'm not buying things that I don't need. I have plenty of clothes. I have plenty of makeup. I have plenty of skincare right now. I have backups of skincare right now because I was buying during sales. I bought during the Prime Day sales. I bought during Sephora's sale. I think I bought something during one of Ulta's sales, although I may not have. That might be the one I skipped. So for me, I have enough of everything. And unless it's a replenishment, because I will need some foundation here eventually, I'm not planning on spending anything. I also need to be saving some because we are planning a trip this year because we have friends who are getting married. And so we want to go celebrate with them. And that's going to be a larger cost than I was hoping it would be. But I also knew it was going to be that way because it's a summer trip and it's always more expensive to travel in the summer. So there will be some travel stuff coming up in the future as well, because this will be a totally different trip for us. And, so there's all these things. Really, these healthy habits are things that I really want to start doing. And in order to be accountable to myself, I want to start slowly. I want to do it one small step at a time, because if I just go, okay, I'm changing how I eat, I'm changing this, I'm changing that. Yes, the spending is going to be a big change, but it's definitely a necessary one. So, I'm going to need to keep a journal, which is another form of self-care, but it's also a form of accountability. And I used to keep a journal when I was younger. So I think that this will help keep me accountable, and I can keep track of what I'm doing, figure out what's working for me, figure out what's not, and adjust monthly from there. So we'll see how that goes. For this channel, one of the intentions that I have is to be more consistent. I think I did a fairly decent job last year of doing one video a week. There were a couple of periods in time where I didn't. When I went on vacation last year for 3 weeks, there definitely weren't videos. I think right away when I got back, I think I had filmed a couple of videos early enough that by the time I got back, I was done with those, and then I needed a couple of weeks to do a video before so there was, I think, a 2-week gap last year, and then I pretty much stopped filming after November. I really didn't do anything for December. It's very difficult with the holiday and everyone's busy, and I was trying to spend time with friends and family, and of course there was the shopping. I have some nieces and nephews and cousins that I like to purchase things for, and there's all of that as well. For me, I definitely want to make sure that I'm making the time to sit down and plan what videos I want to do. And that's probably going to look a little bit different for me in 2 ways. One, I need to sit down weekly and come up with ideas. Or I might change this to where once a month I'm sitting down, I'm coming up with video ideas, and maybe if there's time, I'm putting them in a logical order to me as to which ones I want to film when. Some videos can be filmed the same day, some can't. I still want to do some beauty videos because I have plenty of products to do things with, and I'll maybe need to come up with an idea of, how to use some of my products over and over because I do have so many. So maybe I'll start doing, palette bingo, which I think I talked about last year, and I don't think I ever did it, or maybe I did it once or twice. And then, I could also use my beauty videos of getting ready, but then talking to you guys about something instead of just sitting here talking to you. So I'm going to come up with ideas once a month. And then I think once a week, I'm also going to need take a little bit of time and sit down and say, okay, this is what I have planned to film this week. Does this still fit in with what I want to do? Do I need to change it maybe? And go from there. So that is all something that I'm looking into, and hopefully my, content will continue to be something that you want to watch. If it's not, I understand sometimes, we change. With me changing my channel and being more of a lifestyle channel and less of a beauty channel, since that's not what you signed up for, it may not be something you're interested in. Or maybe if you stick around because you want to see what my lifestyle channel is like, and you decide that, oh, you know what, her lifestyle doesn't really fit with mine, so that really doesn't apply to me. I totally understand. It happens. It's happened with me, with other people that I follow on YouTube, where, they change their channel, or, again, it's just about what's the next thing that's available. And I want to stop spending as much. So, I may not be watching their videos or following them like I was before. So I do want to make sure that I add in some flexibility so I can have a little bit better balance. And I definitely do not want to burn out on my channel. So, hopefully you will start to see what I'm doing, and you guys can send me your ideas as well. If there's something you liked, if there was something you didn't like, if maybe there was something that you want more information on, or me to elaborate on something, I can definitely look into those things as well. I want this to be as much of a two-way street as it can be, considering I'm the one here on this side of the screen and it's not live. That being said, I would like to start incorporating my live videos back into my channel, because I do love that interaction. So if there is a day of the week, if there is a time of day that works better for you, my live videos would only be once a month, maybe every other month, until I get to see, what's really going on with that. But, let me know what would work for you. I do have some friends, in other time zones, and that does make things a little bit difficult as well. So just let me know what works for you. So if you give me a time of day, definitely please make sure to tell me either what country or what time zone you're in so that I have a better idea of, how to coordinate that. Another big intention I have this year is to spend more time with friends and family. I feel like sometimes it's rushed, or I miss, seeing people or talking with people, because, there's just not enough time in the day. There's not enough time in the week, in the month. And I definitely know that I don't need to watch TV. I don't need to be dead scrolling on my phone for 2 hours. Does it happen? Yes. Am I trying to get better about stopping that? Absolutely. So I am looking to choose presence over busyness, or just presence with someone, as opposed to just, feeling like I'm decompressing at night, but I'm really just absorbing way too much information. That's, not great for me. So, whether I'm scheduling coffee dates, or, walks while it's still nice, beautiful weather. I can't think of anywhere close by where you can really walk inside. But, there are places I'm sure I can find something. But, just making an effort without there having to be a special reason. I have some great friends, I have some wonderful family around, and being able to do something with them is very important to me. So that is something I want to start doing more of, even if it just needs to be a phone call once a month, because, and then maybe every other month we get together in person. Trying to do something like that is, on my schedule. So making the time for my friends and family is what I'd really like to make sure that I'm doing consistently this year. So now that 2026 is here and I am moving through this first month, I am reminding myself that progress does not have to be loud or, in your face to be meaningful. I think that small, consistent choices matter. And it's important to remember that trying also matters. One thing that really matters to me, and a word that has meant a lot to me throughout my life, is grace. So giving myself grace as I grow is really, really important, and it really matters to me because I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. And I need to remember that I am growing, I'm learning, I'm changing. And with all of these things, I want to make sure that I give myself grace because I am going to make mistakes. And there's no reason to beat myself up over it. That doesn't mean I shouldn't learn from it because I definitely should. I shouldn't just ignore it, but I just want to be a little bit more gentler with myself. I want to be more graceful with myself and, allow myself to make those mistakes, to figure things out and hopefully learn from them, and move on from there. So, as I said, I'm not perfect. I don't expect to be perfect. I'm not going to work toward perfection. That's going to be really hard for me because it just is. So I am going to try and do my very best to allow space for me to adjust in these new habits, learn in these new habits, and hopefully be able to come back and feel more aligned with who I am, because I do feel a little disconnected from myself, and I do feel, just a little not myself. And I know that some of that has to do with my health and working on that. So I am going to keep, you know, researching and trying to find ways that I can help myself. Um, you know, and that's that's the plan. So if you also are looking to go into this year and work on this year with intention rather than pressure, I would love to hear what you are doing this year, how you are resetting or aligning things in your life. And that way, you know that you're not alone. We are in this together. We may not have the same goals, we may not have the same intentions, but we can still help each other to be accountable. We can still check in with each other. And, you know, you can know that you're not alone. And I can know that I'm not alone. So I want to thank you so much for being here. Just for following along with me as I share this next season with you, this next year with you. I I really do love doing this. It's very creative for me. It's fun for me, and it really is just a creative outlet for me. I'm looking to grow this community for people that want to be here, for people that just want a safe space, who just want to feel like they're not alone. That's what I want from this. I'm not looking to grow a million followers and start making money. I have a job. I know I'm going to have to work for several more years. I'm not looking to be a YouTuber. That's just not something that would work for me. I just want this to be something that hopefully I can put out positivity into the world and help somebody feel better. I am really looking forward to this year and what's to come and being able to share that with you guys. And so, one gentle step at a time, we will get through this year. So, please remember to be kind to yourselves, to be kind to each other. And if you did enjoy this, if you do want to see what's coming up next, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that I will see you next time. Bye, everybody. My little girl.